I'm Tom Griffin, President of Catalyst Unity Solutions, and welcome to another episode of Tech Talk, where we meet with the key players from leading electronic manufacturers and discuss their latest successes, design challenges, and insights for our industry. Today, I'm pleased to introduce Ryan Swanton, Director of Sales for Orbel Corporation. Ryan, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Tom.
So why don't we start off by you telling us a little bit about Orbel, what you do, what are your specialties?
Yeah, so Orbel is a manufacturer of thin gauge metal components. We specialize in beryllium copper, various copper alloys, stainless steels, that type of thing, those type of coil stock. And primarily what we manufacture is for more mission critical high rail applications. So it could be shields, gaskets, shims, brackets, grounds, that type of thing. The biggest thing for us is what we like to consider an uncommon offering is that we like to impart this extensive knowledge that we have of thin gauge metal stamping, especially with beryllium copper, to applications where high reliability and consistency are paramount.
So uncommon offerings, can you give me an example of an application?
Yes. At one point in time, maybe 2 years ago, we were approached by a major player in the aerospace industry who wanted for us to take on a package of legacy items, both stampings as well as some light assemblies, to replace a fabrication shop that they had in-house that they were previously making them from. And these things were and are pretty serious items like loss of life, that type of thing that's associated with it. So they wanted to shift it from their in-house to us because of the what they were seeing was a kind of rising costs. There is a need for there's a change up in their workforce in general, trying to find younger people to take it on that they couldn't, as well as they still had to maintain the supply chain for quite some time yet. So they came to us and basically just wanted to see if we would be able to take something like that on.
So that's great. Those are a lot of challenges. So what did it entail on your part? What did Orbel do to set yourself apart or differentiate from the competitors?
Well, we ended up, I think the main appeal for them, what set us apart was that our vertical integration, having chemical photo etching, having forming and stamping here, heat treatment for beryllium copper, electroplating, that all appealed to them. It was something that they saw that was required for nearly all these parts. And after several meetings that we had between the companies, they realized that while we were a select few that they were considering for these items, we became pretty much the only choice. They saw enough in us that said that we were going to be the ones to do it. And while there was definitely training for us to take this on, because again, there's legacy items, they've had these things for years and years and years. They had to be still made to a certain level of quality. And through them doing a handoff, working closely with our team, they got us basically schooled up on the process, the inspection process, the documentation that's associated. And through all that work, we were able to now supply these items on our own. They've basically cut loose from us. And at the same time, now we're sitting with a NatGap accreditation for heat treatment.
Wow, that's fantastic. Now you had mentioned, you had some challenges there, and you always want to do the uncommon. Can you give us an example of how you adapted to the customer's needs with that?
I think it's because one way that we did was from an assembly standpoint, from an inspection standpoint, while we're a 60-year-old company and we have this really great skill set with stampings and this thin gauge metal forming and creating that through various other operations between heat treatment and plating and things like that. They got us schooled up and took us that extra bit of distance, to help us become something that we weren't before, which is fantastic. We like to be challenged when it comes to these type of applications where we know, it's important that consistency and quality are there, and that we can have something that's going to run for years and years and years to just add security to the company itself.
So you had mentioned that you had an aging workforce, you had a customer that, had not getting great usage out of this facility. So the client ended up with a fully trained team, all the capabilities they needed in a more profitable use of the facility. Is that how that went?
Yeah, pretty much. What ended up happening is because of what we've done, between working closely with them and offloading these items, it really did. It added up for them to be something that, look, you move this type of fabrication and assembly to somebody who does it all the time. This is what Orbel's here for.
Sure.
And,
yeah. Right.
and they're there for what they're doing in their respective market. And by Orbel taking that off their hands, you think about all the planning, all the different types of training that's associated with it, even just the cost of maintaining it is all off them now. So now they can focus on what they do well, and Orbel can focus on what we do well.
That's amazing. I mean, what a great success story. So do you have any other closing thoughts or takeaways?
No, I think for the most part, again, I noted that we're a 60-year-old company. We like to be challenged. We like to also challenge customers, things like that. But I think for this one, the biggest takeaway was that we were able to take on something that normally may have never made it through the doors or made it past the sales department, because it's outside of what we were comfortable with or what we do day in and day out. But, through them seeing something in us, we were able to kind of take it and become more than what we were. And now it basically laid us out for other applications within the industry, whether it's mission critical or high rel. And it's now allowed us to I guess you could say, translate that into something that makes us more versatile, makes us a better company for it.
Well, that's fantastic. At Catalyst Unity, we always say we don't sell parts, we solve problems. And man, that's just a great example of that. So thanks so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. And thank you for watching this episode of Tech Talk with Tom Griffin. See you next time.